Hello, and welcome to Success Stories with Key, where you get a chance to see success from the eyes of someone who is achieving success. What is success? Success means different things to different people. I'm interested in hearing from these people and finding out about their achievements, their challenges, and their keys to success. This week, I have the honor of speaking with Pedro Six, also known as Pedro Six. Pedro, welcome to Success Stories with Key.
Hello. How you going?
Now,
Thanks for letting me come on.
Pedro is a tattoo artist and a business owner with over 20 years of experience. Pedro owns and runs Renegade Art Society, a custom tattoo and piercing studio in Melbourne. So tell us about yourself. Who is the real Pedro?
I don't know. When you ask who am I and who is the real me, I don't know. That's one of those things that I feel like I'm constantly changing.
So what is the most recent iteration of Pedro? How would your friends introduce you or describe you?
This is
Excellent.
Pedro. He's the noisy guy in the room. So if you were to come to my tattoo studio, you'd probably hear me talking at somewhere. You probably wouldn't be able to see me because I'm hiding somewhere in the corner, but you'll probably hear me. If you don't hear me talking, I'll probably end up singing. And when you see me, I'll probably be dancing, as much as I would probably tell everybody that I don't like to sing or dance publicly, but I'm always doing it.
I'm going to jump straight into the questions now. So what are some of your most proud achievements?
So I've been tattooing for around 20 years now. So I've been doing jiu-jitsu for over 20 years now, and recently got my black belt. So that's probably been my recent big achievement. In the same as owning my business and my own tattoo studio. I never really had the intention of opening up my own studio. I didn't think I was capable of doing it. I just wanted to tattoo.
You mentioned before about being a tattoo artist, but not sure about running your own place. And then you became a business owner. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
By the time I got to the point of 10 years in tattooing, I'd seen a lot of things. I'd experienced a lot of things in tattooing, working with different people, different business owners, and I thought that I could do it better. I had a very hard line about it's either yes or no, there's no maybes. So, in the words of Yoda, either do or do not. So if you maybe or I'm not too sure, then that's a no. So my idea was that I was dealing with a lot of people that were somewhat unsure of themselves or didn't have the confidence to really just go and get things. And I thought if I could have a business where I led with that sort of example, where it was you can say, yes, I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I will try. Or no, I don't think I can do that. Then we'd have a really good polarity. You know what I mean? So if people think they can't do it, okay, cool. Let's talk about why you think you can't. What are the obstacles? So this was my mentality. This has always been my mentality.
Amazing. That's an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. So when you first started out, did you think you'd be doing what you're doing today?
No. I probably when I was younger, I would easily say now that I had a low constitution and I had a lack of resilience. I gave up very easily. And that was probably something that I realized, as I was doing my chef's apprenticeship. Once I became aware of that, I started actively seeking out difficult things to do. I never really thought that I would own a business because I didn't think, to answer the question, I didn't think that I would own a business because I didn't think I was capable of doing it. As we started moving into that sort of realm and that sort of part of my career, it became the very obvious thing to do. It's like it was either continue doing what you're doing, and just be frustrated, or take a chance, try and do something different, try and change, try and see what it's like from the other side. And I did that.
Amazing. That's a really interesting insight. You did mention about needing to overcome low resilience, and you did this by undertaking bigger tasks. So are there any other challenges that you have experienced along your journey to success?
It evolves. It always, it's not staff, it's people, it's working with people. Sometimes you have to take a step back and stop thinking about yourself and listen more and listen more. And like really, you really have to listen. You have to stop your mind as well, from thinking. You have to just stop and listen. And listen to them and be, like I said, sympathetic towards them, and like understand like what their issues are, and figure out whether you can help them, and whether that's in your capacity to do that. To use an analogy, if we have this big table, which is our business, and we're all sitting down to eat, I've got to make sure that not only does everybody have a plate and cutlery to eat with, I've got to make sure that there's enough food for everybody to eat. And there's always space at the table for more, but I've got to make sure that everybody's eating first. And sometimes if you think about the business, great, fill up the table, put as many people on there as you can, bring your own food. You can have that mentality, but if you're not taking care of those who are already struggling, then it's not going to work out. Bad dynamics, all that sort of stuff. So those are the main struggles. It's not business. It's just working with people and making sure that everybody's thriving and they're getting what they want. I don't want people to feel like they're working. I want them to feel like they're doing something of value. Providing a service. Building themselves.
So let's touch on that. During the pandemic, things got a bit tough, right? Because people weren't allowed to come visit your studio. So what were some of the things that you did to stay in business or stay motivated?
I'll be honest, I gave up. It was the first time I thought I had a lot of scenarios planned out in my head, but I never planned for a pandemic. Yeah, like most of us. And it was a very unique scenario. So we were in a fortunate position where we had downscaled the business. So we previously, just before the pandemic happened, our lease had finished in another studio which we were in, which was like over 300 squares, double story. We had a retail shop downstairs. We had an art gallery, a barber shop. We did art parties. We did all these really cool things, all these things that really made my soul sing as a creative and an artist. And I hoped it was something that was encouraging for people to come and work and thrive from. But we just weren't bringing enough revenue in to really keep the business afloat. We're just breaking even. So we downsized. So basically we moved to a shop that was like half the size. But it was perfect. I managed to move everybody. There was enough space for everybody, but we just didn't have all the extras. So we downsized, and then 2 or 3 months later, the pandemic happened, and then we didn't work. I remember having a meeting with everybody and saying, like, what's your plan C? Because my plan B was always to go back to hospitality and wash dishes if I had to. Like I was cool with that. If I just had enough, I would just go wash dishes. Got no problem with that. I can't strip. I'm too old and my knees are knobby. But and there's not a huge market for older guys to strip. So my plan B and my plan C was out the window. So what was my plan D? And so I said that to everybody at the shop. Like what do you want to do? Like if tattooing's done, what do you want to do?
Interesting. So let's jump straight into the $64,000 question. How do you define success?
I think this is tricky because I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm not allowed to say money, am I?
Well, you can if you want.
I think in a business, if you're doing well with money, I think that's it's indicative that you're doing something right. But I think if we're thinking about business and life and all that sort of stuff, it has to be a retrospect. You have to be able to look back and ask yourself, did I do it well? Did I do it to the best of my ability? Did I do it without hurting others around me? Some people might think they're successful, but how many people did you pull off the ladder on the way up? Am I able to confidently give back? I've probably taken a lot, to be able to get all these experiences and all the knowledge and stuff. So can I give it back and give it back to the right people? The people who really want this and deserve it. So I think for me, that's where my success is. It's like lighting a candle. Like one candle can light 1,000 candles. So if I can be that one candle who's been lit, then I can light as many candles with, as long as I keep my flame alive. So that's what I thought as my definition of success, being keep the flame alive and reignite flames, or keep other flames alive.
Now that's a great answer. Great answer. So what are some things that you've done to make yourself successful?
You, first of all, you have to self-assess. You have to be critical. And then, weirdly enough, I heard of this guy named Anthony Robbins, the guy with the teeth. And I didn't really take much in, other than he's talked about something called RPM planning. What do you want? And so you have to figure out not how to get there, but how to work backwards from what you want. So I remember thinking, like, I was still an apprentice chef, and I was making maybe $500 a week. Barely making enough to live. I was making enough to live at the time. It's just that I wasn't making enough to go out 5 nights a week and get really drunk all the time. But yeah, the point was that I thought that in order to be successful at that point, I needed to make a certain amount of money a week. In order to save money, go on a holiday, save for a car that wasn't a piece of shit, and all the things. And so I worked backwards, from what I wanted, and then what do I need? What do I need? What do I need? So I need to earn this much money. How many hours do I need to work at my current pay rate, to earn that amount of money? How much money am I spending? And so you would just work all the way backwards until I was lying in the bed right then and there. It's like, what do you need to do next? Sleep. You need to rest. Get a proper 6-8 hours of sleep. So yeah, I guess my point is, like, you've got to plan. You've got to be critical, and you've got to plan. If you don't plan, then you're doing nothing. If you don't have not a dream, but a vision. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, if you're dreaming, you are asleep. Wake up, look around, find your vision.
So here's where I summarize the keys to success from what I've gleaned from our conversation. Firstly, when you first started your business, you thought you could do better. So there was a certain degree of confidence there. Another thing was commitment and certainty, right? So you were or you weren't. You were avoiding ambiguity, and it was either a yes or a no. There wasn't a maybe. Another key to success was good partnerships. You were able to find people who are able to support you personally and professionally. And the last one you spoke about was the need to plan. So during the pandemic, you had a plan B, C, D. So you just needed to keep on going.
Yep.
So my last question for today is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Buy the house. Buy more houses. Yeah, I think that's the joke one. Everything's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It will get hard, but it's also going to be easy at some points. And it's only going to be easy because you push through the hard stuff. Keep going. It's going to be okay.
Absolute gold. Amazing. Thank you so much. So we've reached the point in our interview where we hear from our sponsor. So Pedro, as a sponsor, what would you like to say about Renegade Art Society?
Renegade Art Society, we're in Brunswick West. Come and see us. We do custom tattoos. We fix them up. We fix up all your old shit tattoos. We've got different styles. We pierce. We give good times. If you come on a Friday afternoon, there might be a sneaky whiskey or a beer, if that's what you like. There might even be pizza. But yeah, get more tattoos. Don't worry about what your parents are going to say. They're already disappointed. Impress yourself.
If you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Follow Key to Success so you can benefit from my learnings as I undertake my own journey to success.